Hello and welcome to Guaranty RV Supercenter's live stream. We call it G Live. We air every Friday morning at 9 a.m. trying to bring you the best tips and tricks for getting the most out of your RV. We're coming into the winter months here and we've got a special topic for you today that you're going to want to know more about. But first, I want to introduce ourselves. My name is Marshall. I'm your host today. My co-host is the infamous Dr. Q. Good morning, Dr. Q.
Good morning, Marshall. Good morning, Internet. Thanks for joining us.
He is infamous for a variety of reasons. One is the name, Dr. Q. That just sounds very, very rugged and sinister. But he's also infamous for his tech tips for our viewers. And many of you have commented on that online, and I love that. Keep those questions coming in so that we can, hopefully get everybody using their RVs to their max, to their potential, getting out and enjoying the great outdoors. It is the winter months, like we said. That means that we want to make sure and weatherize and prep for storage this winter before when we take it back out later this winter or in the spring, we're all ready to go. Today's topic is our tanks and making sure that they are winterized properly, and sometimes there can be some issues with that. Dr. Q has seen those issues in the travel center, in the Guarantee RV Travel Center. People coming in, not quite sure why their tank is reading full when they're sure they emptied it. So let's impart some wisdom to our audience today, Dr. Q. What do you got?
Oh, my pleasure, Marshall. It's kind of another home remedy, I like to call them, in the Dr. Q vein there. So we're going to talk about, like last week we talked about some winterization and putting your vehicle away in storage. And one of the things we just barely touched on was the holding tanks. If you have the ability and the time to prep those tanks for when you take it back out of storage, one less thing you have to worry about. And those tanks are cleared, so you don't really have to worry about any of the water damage that can happen with freezing and that sort of stuff. So I've kind of prepared a fun little demonstration. I know how much you love demonstrations. I know how much you love demonstrations out there, Internet. So we're going to migrate inside this vehicle, and we're going to talk about how to make sure that you are evacuating your tanks fully, and if you're experiencing any issues, how to kind of combat some of those issues. After you, Marshall.
All right. Look at this gorgeous coach.
It is a beautiful, beautiful coach.
I could live in.
You could. It's huge. It's bigger than my house, I think. So today, because it's very difficult to actually access many of the holding tanks on these, and they didn't allow me to have the Sawzall this morning, I've decided that we're going to mock up a holding tank. So on a holding tank, you are going to have these fun little tank probe sensors.
Check this bad boy out. So we got the retaining nut on back, and then this what kind of a sensor is? Is this just ground?
Yes, exactly what's going to happen. So on our tank here, Marshall, would you hold that just a second? So on our tank here, you would have a sensor at basically each one of these graduation lines. So it would be a quarter, half, three quarters, and then full. And so what happens is as the water actually goes above those lines, and we have a visual representation for that, Marshall, if you do the honors. So as the water is actually coming up past these lines, it is going to connect these probes, and these probes work on ground. So when they are connected, we're going to see that, okay, so now we're at quarter tank. As we get up to this line here, this other probe hits that water and connects the two. It should now read half full. So we check our monitor panel. We see that it is reading half full. We decide we're going to go dump this before we put it in storage. So you go and you dump your vehicle and you come back and you read the monitor panel and it's still half full.
Should we look at the monitor?
Sure, let's look at the monitor panel. This is a nice coach. So your nice integrated information center here, monitor panels. This one's going to read empty, but for fun's sake, let's say we checked it and it's reading 2/3 full. We go and dump it. We come back, and now it's reading 1/3 or 2/3 full. We know we've evacuated that tank to the best of our ability, but something is wrong in the information given to the panel. Now, it's possible that we didn't evacuate the tank well enough, that there actually is still some residual waste left in the tank. So the first thing that we would do is we would take one of our fun toilet chemicals, one we like here very much, which is Happy Camper, because it's a digestant. It's an enzyme-based digestant. It has no added perfume, so it doesn't add any extra smell. And you can use as much of this as you want. The more you use, the less economical it is. But you could take this whole $16 tub, pour it right into your holding tank, and let it set. And the longer it sets, the more it eats, the more it's going to digest. So we've done that, say. We've done all of that after we've come back from trying to dump it the first time, realized that it didn't dump correctly. We do our happy camper treatment. We let it set for a day or two. We come back, we dump it again, and we're still getting the wrong reading on our monitor panel. More than likely, these little probes, innocent-looking little probes, are probably the culprit. Because what will happen is, because they stick through the side of the tank, they are susceptible to waste and paper and things connecting them. So once they're connected, no matter what's connecting them, that still acts as the ground. It's still going to tell us that that tank thinks it is 2/3 full. So what do we do at that point? Well, we can hope that one of the little goodies here, little floaties, and Marshall, I use marshmallows because, well, I know you like breakfast and you're a little squeamish, but sometimes those will stick on there and just driving the vehicle around and get them to come off of there. Sometimes we're going to take a handy bit of dish soap and we're going to pour that dish soap in there. I'm not going to do it now because we're going to put ice in there in a minute and we'll get a big foaming mess. But so what Dawn does is it takes grease out of your way. This is a shop trick. This is something that is done in our shop almost every day. They use Dawn. And so what happens is it degreases your little probes and now they begin to read correctly. If you are still having trouble, you've done all of that, you're still having trouble, one last little trick. Ice. So, we're going to take this ice. Thank you, Marshall. We're going to make sure that it's small cubes. You don't want big pieces like this big one. Nice solid countertops in this store give me the ability to smash this up nicely without worrying about doing any damage, as Marshall's looking at the... All right. So, like I said, we don't really want the big piece. Put that in the sink here. What we want are these small pieces. And so we're actually now, if you would imagine us in the restroom, pouring this down the toilet. That's where we're going to access the black tank. Easiest, most direct route to the black tank. We're going to pour all of that ice into there. And now, can you hear that? That ice is basically working like a rock tumbler against the walls of the tank, against the backs of the probes, against any of the fun little floaties that are running around in there. So it should be knocking any debris, any stubborn debris should be knocked loose by the ice. Now, you have to drive around to get the ice to move. Just a note, some people, I've given this suggestion too, they've gone and they poured ice in the toilet, they come back, they said it didn't work. Did you drive the vehicle? Well, no. If you don't drive the vehicle, she doesn't shake and shimmy, you don't get the rock tumbler. But this, if these three things don't work, bring it to us. You've got some sort of issue going on that is above and beyond the ability to fix it without digging into the system. But these things should get your monitor panel working correctly, should get your tanks to evacuate fully. And then the very last thing is you can dump more of this chemical down into that holding tank without using any water. Well, if I put it down in there with water, the water evaporates. Yes, that's true. These guys just go dormant. They just wait for more water. So the very end of the whole process, once you've got this so that your monitor panel is now reading correctly, you feel like the tank is evacuated correctly, you can just pour some of this down into the tank, be ready for next year.
Well, there you have it, folks. The shake and shimmy RV hack. That is fantastic. This is I love the fact that we're able to bring the shop tricks from the years of industry experience right to you. There's many more of these available on other people's YouTube channel and on our YouTube channel. Just search Guaranty RV Supercenter on YouTube and you'll find a number of our live stream RV hacks, our shop tricks to get you winterized, get your tank sensors cleaned so that you're not going crazy wondering why you emptied the tank and it's still reading full. This should solve the problem and avoid a lot of potential cost. Most RV dealers have a fairly long waiting list to get into the shop. Even with 46 service bays here at Guaranty RV Supercenters, there's oftentimes quite a long wait. We do everything we can to get people in and out as quickly as possible and efficiently, but these are the simple things that you can do first before you have to come in. And this advice is not only free on the internet, but also, if you call the Guaranty RV Travel Center or Guaranty RV Service, they will be happy to share some of these tricks with you as well. So, Dr. Q, anything else that comes to mind with this?
Well, we would be remiss in not mentioning the seminar tomorrow, 10 a.m. at the Travel Center. They'll go over a lot of the winterizing stuff we've gone over. Dan Edgecombe and Dave Taylor. Dan is one of our service writers. He's been in the industry for, I think, about 8 million years, and Dave is just a few million years ahead of him in that they really have been doing this a long time. The two of them together pretty well know everything. I actually learn a lot from those guys when I sit in those seminars, and I feel like I know a little bit about this industry. So my rambling point is come down, see us tomorrow morning at the Travel Center, 10 a.m. They'll feed you. They'll give you all kinds of great information. If you're in the area, come see us. All right, let's head on out.
From all of us at Guaranty RV Supercenters in Junction City, Oregon, we really appreciate your viewership, and if there's anything we can ever answer online, we'd be happy to do it. These are the folks here, the people producing this and the people hosting it that help answer the questions online. So we may look vicious, but we don't bite. We're happy to answer any silly questions or any difficult questions. We'll also give those a shot too. So again, thank you for your viewership, and we'll look forward to seeing you next Friday, 9 a.m. And between now and then, don't forget the RV seminar tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. at the Guaranty RV Travel Center. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Terry.